grab that?
Yeah. I'm gonna need sunglasses for sure. Thank you. How many more you got? 2?
Yeah.
See, they got kind of clear. It's hard to tell, but they were more like, see, like I just pulled that out of the.
Yeah.
See, they're clear.
Uh-huh.
Good morning and welcome to our high tunnel. We are out here moving our plants over for what I like to call daycare. And so what we're basically doing is Eric and I are transporting plants that we have inside in bins, and we're bringing them out for just the day to stay in our high tunnel. And the reason we do that is because it is too cold at night to actually leave them out here, but it also helps them just like be really strong because they get all that natural air. They get this warm sun and these long light hours that we're having. So they really ultimately do a lot better out here than they do inside of our cabin. If you're familiar with the term hardening off, that's virtually what we're doing. Usually you would do it a little bit of a different way. If you didn't have a high tunnel, you'd acclimate your plants slowly outdoors to, you know, like some days where it's gray outside, maybe you've got some good cloud cover, and then slowly let them be more in the sunlight, the really intense sunlight. Because plants grown indoors, they are not exposed to that type of thing, so they can be pretty sensitive when you finally move them outdoors. Let's take a look at what we've got. So all of our onions, a few of our flowers, I've got artichokes, celery, stuff like that. That's all out for daycare. And then we have these other trays, and these trays have a lot of our brassicas and mustards, early greens, lettuces, things like that. We do a process that's kind of similar to cold sowing. Cold sowing is where you start seeds outdoors. Sometimes you can start them in the winter when it's still really cold out, and what happens is they germinate when the environmental conditions triggers them to. So when it's ready outside. That usually works really well here. As you can tell, these look great. But what sometimes happens is we do still get the frost, and that will on occasion wipe these out. So I have had that happen where I start our seeds out here and then we have like a really bad frost in the teens or something like that, and we'll lose some plants. But for the most part, it does work pretty well, and this is my only option because I am completely out of room inside for starting seeds. So I have to start them out here like this. So far, things are going pretty good with our plants this year. We still have a ton of snow outside. We got that late snow this year, so there's still several feet on the ground out there. It's definitely going to be a while till we can actually plant things outside of the high tunnel. But the temperatures are warming up, and we are actually going to grab our dogs and head out and do something fun, something that you can only do at this time of the year.
On that one. We did those two right there. That is a taste of spring right there. We're out here tapping a birch tree today. This is a nice, really nice, healthy one. This area has a ton of big ones. It's in the 40s today, 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's, you know, it's still getting below freezing at night, but we're gonna be hitting 50 degrees here pretty soon. Get our bucket set up. We're just gonna tap this one tree this year. Come on, boys. slide it in maybe if you can. Push it in there.
I think we cut that last time, so we can actually get it in there this time, right? That's good. Yeah, you got it. There we go. Yeah.
These are chickens that we raised as chicks, and this is a chicken that a mom chicken raised, and they're extremely aggressive.
So I think that all of the chatter has stopped for a brief moment. Eric and I got what we call our brooder boxes in our chicken coop, and they are basically just two little extra spaces that we built for mom chickens when they have little babies. It's been 2 years since we let our chickens hatch out any of their own chicks, and we are doing it again this year. Very exciting stuff. We started a few years back with 30 Icelandics. Half of them were roosters, half of them were girls. And from there, we have hatched them before, but we have lost some chickens due to illness, and we're ready to have more again. We also have 3 beautiful Jersey Giants, which are these lovely chickens right here. They're a lot bigger. She's sitting on eggs, but she's not actually broody. She's just laying one for the day. To hatch chickens this way, you need a broody chicken or a broody mom. You need a hen that is basically determined to hatch out chicks. She has to sit on the eggs for 3 weeks before they hatch. And this breed of chicken is very, very broody. Like 75% of the flock goes broody. Over the last week, Eric and I have been marking what eggs we want to hatch. We put like a little X on them, and then we give them to the chickens. And she's gonna sit on those and keep those nice and warm. The whole process is super neat. I personally think it's really, really fun and wonderful to watch. It's totally different than raising chickens indoors and having to transition them to outdoors. The moms do 100% all of the work, and they have to be really, really good, determined moms. Cresty is a really good mom. She's definitely broody. We can tell by her behaviors. They usually make different sounds or they'll puff up. And that's how I know that these ones are broody. And they will just stay again on this nest for pretty much 3 weeks. She'll get up every day and take like a little potty break and get some food, but then she'll go right back to her nest. She'll shift the eggs and keep them warm, and it's really just a really cool process. Even though all 10 of these nesting boxes are full right now, I think about 5 of the chickens are broody, and we have actual eggs underneath them that we want to hatch. So we have that to look forward to in a few weeks, and then we will move them once they hatch down to the brooder boxes. Well, we're out here checking the bees, and you can see that our hives, some of our hives are still alive. Last time we reported to you, all 3 of them were alive, but sadly we have lost one of them since then. And we're actually going to be doing a little bit of intervention today. We weren't planning on this. It is spring, but it is still very much winter here, and so we have a lot of snow. We barely have any sort of pollen out for these bees. Really, there's nothing available for them out here except for just snow. So we are going to be condensing one of the smaller hives down just a little bit in hopes to get them through just a little bit longer. We have one hive that's doing awesome. See, they're breaking the cluster, so obviously not like that. Just on the bottom before I set them down. As best you can. What if I set them down like that?
Down. You're not going to hurt them.
A lot of them died there. Is there honey on that one too? There is.
Oh, that's not good. Here we go.
you kind of smoke right in the corner where I'm about to put these down? Right there. That's good, that's good. Okay. Almost there. Gotta put some pollen on. That'll just really help them, what's it called? Take off quicker.
Hopefully, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Thanks, baby. Good rock. There we go. Okay. Time back down. All right, the bees are out now. We successfully shifted this hive. We shifted the bees over to the middle because they were kind of worked up in the corner. Whenever that happens, they can run out of their resources really quickly, especially if it's not warm enough. They won't break what's called the cluster to go get food. So usually we try to set them up in the fall, like all in the middle, so to speak. But as the winter goes on, they do gradually move. And we had noticed this hive had started to kind of shift towards the side. I thought they were probably gonna be okay. I do think they probably would have been okay without intervention, but I think what we did is actually gonna help them, kind of give them a boost for this spring. It turns out they had quite a bit of their own honey left, so we put that much closer to them. They've also got some pollen patties that we added in there. We added those in probably 2 weeks back in order to encourage the queen to start laying. There's not really that much out here for them to eat right now. That particular hive we got last spring, so this was their first winter successfully overwintering. The hive in the middle, that is its second year that it's been able to overwinter. And our third hive on the end, it would have been its second year, but sadly they did not make it. That was kind of a surprise for us because we had checked them. I think we checked them the first week in March and they looked awesome. They were big and strong. They were always our biggest, strongest hive. And so I really didn't see that coming, but I noticed one day that there was a lot less sound coming out of there, and we checked it and it turned out that the huge hive they were had went down to just like a grapefruit size, which is really bad news, especially in March. They still needed a few weeks to go before we really got to our true spring. I took that kind of hard because I always feel like there was something we probably could have done to help them. But I think sometimes I just forget that this is extreme. Beekeeping is really hard, honestly, wherever you're at, but we are here in Alaska and it's very challenging to be able to get the bees to successfully overwinter consistently every year. 3 things we do for them to help them is we give them extra food. So they each get 10 pounds of sugar on top of their own honey to eat throughout the winter. They also get extra insulation, some extra foam outside of their foam hives already. And we also do a quilt box, which helps with ventilation, so better circulation for the hive, just to make sure they don't get too much moisture built up in the hive over the winter. Bees don't actually hibernate in the winter, so it is a long time. It's 6+ months. It's like closer to 7, honestly, that they're in those and they can't really come out. They only come out to do some cleansing fights every once in a while. We're now in the middle of April, so we've already ordered a 3rd beehive. We're gonna be picking that package up next week and we will install them. Our hope is to keep 3 hives successfully. We want to be able to harvest more honey from them in the future. In the meantime, it has been really fun to learn about them and interesting if you don't get stung. We would have loved for all 3 of them to make it through the winter, but I've had some time to deal with it, so to speak, so I'm happy that at least 2 of them made it. It is 9 p.m. now and we just finished bringing in our plants. We showed you bringing them out earlier and I wanted to show you what they look like when they're inside of our small cabin. It's crazy, it's hectic, and we are hoping to get them out indefinitely pretty soon. This is the primary reason why they go out for daycare, because we just cannot have them inside our cabin like this. We're about to shut down things for the night, but we wanted to show you something really neat over in the chicken coop.
Well, we're shutting the chickens in for the evening and we're gonna do something that we like to do, and it's called candling the eggs. We're gonna use a flashlight. We're gonna put the little egg on here, and an egg that has been sat on by the chicken for a little while, you'll start to see a little chicken developing in the egg. We got a mom right here. Let's grab one of her eggs and check them. It's okay. Yeah, right there. All right, when you have a chicken egg where you're gonna develop a chick and hatch one out, you wanna be really careful with it. So I like to make a little seal around the flashlight with my fingers. Place the egg right on top. And we can slowly turn it and see if we have a chicken developing in there. I'm not seeing anything in this one. And this one doesn't look like there's anything going on in there. And the reason you want to do this too is you can check if there's an egg under there that's not fertile, so it's not going to actually produce a chick. And if you have an egg like this underneath a hot hen for 21 days, the egg can actually burst open and can get all over the other eggs. So we're going to put this one aside for now. All right, let's see. This one's a little dirty. Oh for 2. Doesn't look like there's anything in this one either. These eggs are pretty early in the development. She hasn't been sitting on them for more than a couple days, so it's possible nothing's happening in there yet. Oh, no, this one is. We got something happening in this one. It's really hard to see, but you can see these lines. They almost look like veins. And that is early development of a little chick. Pretty cool. Let's put this one in the back so we know which one it is. All right, what else you got in there? This is a brown egg from a Jersey Giant. These ones are just harder to tell this early on, so I can't tell in the brown ones. But I'm gonna leave her alone. Let's check a chicken that's been going a little longer here. Wow. That was a little chick that's only about a week away from hatching, so that one was like way far along. Let's grab another one here. Oh yeah.
It's moving inside there.
I see that. That's crazy. It's moving around. All right, that's really exciting. This is a Jersey Giant egg, and you can actually see the little chick moving around in there. This is awesome. All right, let's check the rest of these brown ones. Another one that's doing good. We're gonna shut it down for the night. Let these ladies go to sleep. There you go. Here we go. We're headed to the equipment rental shop. It's about an hour away. We're gonna go pick up an electric man lift, and hopefully we're gonna get our siding done this weekend. Well, it's our toy for the weekend. We're actually gonna rent this tomorrow, which is Saturday. We're supposed to pick it up early in the morning, but the guy called us and they had it available Friday evening, and we got the weekend special, so we have it all the way till Monday, and we only had to pay the price for 1 day. And this is an electric man lift, and it doesn't have an hour meter on it, so we get to use it as many hours as we want. The main reason we rented this was to do the back of the house. We still haven't done all the house wrap. We haven't even started on the siding back there. The ground is unlevel over there, and there's a lot of ice on the ground. We couldn't get up there with the scaffolding or the ladders, so we're gonna use this on the back, but we also need to finish the front. We got about 5 feet left of the siding, and I'm gonna learn how to use this thing. I've never used one before, and I'm gonna put up our trim. I already got it up there, and I'm gonna see if I can get myself up there with this machine and get it nailed in. All right, this gets pretty confusing here. So we gotta go up. Oh, whoa, there we go. Okay. Look at this. Look at that. This is awesome. All right, we're gonna see if we can get this first angle cut. And after we get this one cut and perfect, the other one should be easier, hopefully. This is a steep angle. It's about as far as this saw will cut. Now we can take this angle we just cut. I'm gonna flip it upside down and get the same exact angle on the other side, and hopefully it fits. I think we might have erred on cutting it a little too long, so we could trim it if we need to. See if she fits.
Too big?
Small. Not there.
Okay.
Just like the thickness of the blade, pretty much. We're close to sealing it up. Getting up there, it's slow with this thing because it doesn't move too fast, and you're doing a lot of up and down with these cuts because the cuts are getting pretty precise and we've got angles on them. It's taken us a while, but it's turned out really good and we're getting there. Going up. Last ones. Where do you think I should put the nails? One here? All right. Good job, baby. Got the front done. It was extremely hard. Here we go. Last thing we're gonna do tonight. It's getting pretty late, but we're gonna put our light back on the front. Just in the nick of time. I think it's about 9 p.m. We're calling it quits for the night.
Do you like all the different directions it moves?
Oh yeah, this thing's awesome. I'll take you up to the top tomorrow.
Okay.
It's a little jerky in me. Touch the basket back as far as it can go.
But I'm pretty sure it can do this area. Okay, so the foot will go right here still?
Yeah. We had to do some digging this morning to get the man lift back, hopefully far enough. The sawmill's sitting right there under the snow, so we can't go back too far. I think we're gonna have enough room to get up there and get the house wrap on. Let's do it. Toodaloos. Toodaloos.
Tape now? You can start taping while I put out a custom piece for you?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. I think I can use this piece right here.
get us in there. Man, I love this machine.
Time for siding?
Looks good. No, not time for siding. We've got to put the trim up. And then it's siding time.
So I grab the nail yet? No. You gotta go all the way up to where you want it. Do you want the level or anything?
Probably move this ladder somehow.
Okay, I'll move it.
Okay, I'm gonna sit on the shower, keep going, keep going. That's good. Ready? Hold on.
Let's. Good. You really have earplugs in? I think your idea was better, yeah, to do, because what if we...
I gotta grab my whole saw real quick.
Woo, what do you think?
I don't know. I'm very confident with it. You gotta take your gecko out of it, you know? Yes. Lunchtime. Pickled eggs and salmon wraps with coleslaw. Oh my gosh, I'm starving.
Any good?
You put dressing on this?
Yeah.
Thank you. Things are going great out here today. This back wall, it's a little more difficult. We got a lot of mud on the ground, and we got a slant, and we got the shower in the way. But all in all, I think we're doing a pretty good job. We just put in one with a cut for the window, and it should be pretty easy until we get to the top of the window. So we're gonna tackle this little section next. Start stacking more siding. See how we're gonna get there.
Oh, splintered. Well, we're calling it quits now. We feel like this is a good breaking point since we have the rental tomorrow as well, and we need to go check that birch tree that we tapped the other day.
Nice. Cool. Looks like we got about that's probably like 3 gallons. Let's give this a try. Look at that. Fresh birch sap. Oh, that's refreshing. Let's see what we're getting for a drip. About every 2 seconds we're getting a drip, which is good. You can't complain. We got a bunch of sap in here, but as it warms up a little, I'm betting we'll get like every 1 second, and this will be getting this full in one day because this has been 2 days on this batch. Let's switch buckets here. We're gonna head home.
You already painted the ends? Yeah, what's that? I gotta go buy and put these too.
moving right along today. Not gonna lie, I've had some issues, especially cutting around some of these windows because we're doing notches around the windows and we're also having to get that perfect angle along the trim and the roof line. We're done with that section. All we have is, I think, like 4 little pieces of trim to go up. So we're almost there. All right, last 2 little pieces of siding on the whole project. Well, we have moved the man lift to the front of the house. I did some caulking around the back areas that were really high. Figured we kind of use this thing while we got it. It is getting pretty late, but I'm gonna bring it up to the front and I'm gonna caulk around the front. This is looking good, and this machine made this project possible. This thing is awesome.
We're sneaking on to the boom lift and we are going to celebrate with some blueberry scones and some coffee. That one? You're probably wondering when we're gonna paint our house, and that is a great question. We're planning on painting it in May. May is our driest month, so I'm hoping that we get it done then, but for now, we're just gonna enjoy our food.
After getting all of our tools cleaned up and our equipment put away and our shower put back together, we are officially done with our siding project. I think it was a lot more difficult than I was expecting it to be, but it also turned out better than I thought it was going to turn out, which is awesome.
It does look absolutely incredible. We definitely couldn't have done it without that boom lift rental. That was amazingly helpful for this. So was the miter saw, and so were those little gauges to help us make sure everything was level.
Definitely.
This is just part of the project, unfortunately. We still have to do all the, well, some of the caulking and
Most
painting.
of it, yeah. And the painting is gonna have to wait a while. We still have like 4 feet of snow on the ground, and we're just gonna wait for things to warm up, and we'll tackle the painting next time on this project. And what was the hardest part about this project for you?
That's a tricky one for me. You didn't ask me that before, but this last day, these last few days, we've actually starting to get the thaw happening, so there's a lot of mud and moisture in the ground. Never fun to work in. We have added a lot of gravel, but that was still kind of reminiscent of a few years ago when we were building our chicken coop in High Tunnel. But part of this project was kind of challenging to me, like the root cellar, like a lot of just really hard work every day, longer than I expected. I don't really like building house stuff, so that's just, to me, was like...
Yeah, it was hard. We were working, boy, at least 10-hour days every day. Like Arielle said, the mud now is bad. But I think the worst part about this project for me was when we had all of the ice, trying to get our ladders and our scaffolding up.
Not dying.
Dealing with that ice, but what can you do?
I think part of too, we wanted to really recycle those pine window trim, and that made the whole thing harder. That made a lot of our cuts more challenging.
It made it take a lot longer, and the boards were kind of warped a little bit, so it was kind of hard to cut the trim around those.
But it's done now.
It would have been easier if we bought the trim, but it would have been more expensive. And we bought enough siding for the project, which was awesome. We actually have 10 pieces to return.
Very little waste. All in all, it's done until we have to paint.
Until then.
We'll catch you on the next video.
See ya.